Hi children, welcome back to the lesson that is natural calamities. Right? We are discussing about natural calamities. Here natural calamities are nothing but natural disasters, and we discussed about floods and as well as drought condition. Now in this session we are going to learn about the condition or another new calamity, that is earthquake. So, earthquake. Have you listened this word? Earthquake. Zameen hilna. I don't know Hindi very well, but Zameen hilna, right? The movement in the earth. The movement in the earth. Quake means getting cracked, right? So, yeah, earthquake. Earthquake is treated as a natural calamity where the earth is going to show the movement, massive movement. It shows the movement. So movement of the earth, it causes earthquake. So you have one doubt, sir, earth is rotating regularly and it is moving daily, then we are not getting earthquake. So it is not that movement. Here movement of the earth crust. What is that? Movement of the earth crust. Movement of the earth crust, it causes earthquake. It causes earthquake, right? So simply we can able to say that shaking of earth crust, shaking of earth surface causes the earthquake, right? And now then what happens? Do you know what happens when earth surface get quake or when it shakes, right? Simply when it shakes, when the, for example, here it is the earth surface and here it is the building, large buildings, trees, electric poles, all are there. Now this region is shaked, the earth surface is get shaked, the earth crust is moved. When it vibrated, when it moved, when it shake, then what happens? Along with the earth crust, whatever the buildings, trees, electric poles, buses or vehicles, people, whoever living here, all they are going to get shake. Then what happens? When it shakes severely, even the dams that built over the river also get shake, and the severe earthquake can cause cracks to develop on the walls of building. So when earth shakes, then it causes the what you call cracking on the wall. We could able to see the cracks on the wall. Why? Because जमीन हिल गया. So बिल्डिंग का वॉल जो कुछ भी रहता है उस पे अपन एक क्वेक, nothing but a crack can be seen, right, to the building. And as well as sometimes the building will be collapsed. वो बिल्डिंग गिर जाता है भी, right? And as well as the roads they show the chaos in, right? Right? And as well as the trees will fall down, and as well as the bridges get break. Then what happens? Can you imagine what happens? Actually, when electric poles are get disturbed, the wires, electric pole wires, these wires, they can dangle here and there. When they touch together, it is going to generate the fire and it causes the fire accident even, right? So earthquake also causes fire accident because of electricity. And as well as bursting of dams. For example, this dam is storing more water here, large amount of water is stored here, and whenever earthquake occurs at the dam, then what happens? Due to bursting of dam, lots of water it comes down and it fills the canals and it floods, right? When it floods into villages, it causes heavy damage of that particular area that the people living around it. Actually, here in Gujarat on 26th January 26, 2001, a massive earthquake is occurred. Because of this very dangerous earthquake, near about 20,000 people they died. 20,000 people they died in this earthquake. So very strongest earthquake ever we seen, right? And as well as in Japan also the same thing happened in Japan in March 2011. Due to massive earthquake, the lots of houses, buildings, and all the constructions, they get destroyed, and lakhs of people, they died during that earthquake, right? So here many of them, they lost their belongings. There is no shelter for them to be live, so that they, what you call, after an earthquake, the people have to live in the tents. जब यहाँ जगह नहीं है, जो बिल्डिंग भी डिस्ट्रॉय हो गया, रहने के लिए तो जगह नहीं है, इसलिए टेंट बना के वो टेंट में रहना पड़ता है उससे कोई दिनों तक. तब क्या होगा, remaining days they are going to construct the new house, and they will be enter into new house later, but they have to lead the life under the tents when earthquake occurs, right? And as well as earthquakes are very common in India, some parts of India, and as well as जापान में ढेर सारा earthquake आएगा, right? It is called very prone area, earthquake prone area on the earth is जापान में बहुत earthquakes आता रहता है, छोटा मोटा earthquakes बहुत आता है, right? So here, to know very well about the earthquake, actually how do earthquake occurs, what causes the earthquake, before that we have to learn the structure of earth. So when you look into structure of earth, here earth has two main layers. Many layers are there. For our understanding, I am saying you that there are two main layers, inner layer and outer layer. Inner layer is called as core and outer layer is called as crust. We call it as earth crust. Inner core and outer crust. Here crust is not a continuous form, it is a cracked form, right? It is a cracked form, not exactly it is being, it is a cracked form, right? Like this, the earth crust is divided into small parts, and these parts are called as faults. These are called as faults. The small pieces of earth crust, are called as flats. On these faults, we, living being, nature, all the living organisms are being on this earth surface. Actually, this earth crust is about 30 kilometer in length. 30 kilometer in length, right? And inner core, when you get into inner core, the total inner core, it is a fireball actually. Totally it has a melting material called magma. What we call it is magma. So here this magma can able to even melt the rocks. So here this is melting material that is present inside. So magma, melting material is present inside, and outside there are faults. These faults, they always float on the magma. So they are floating on magma, Nana. They are floating on magma. So now what happens here, when these magma, here this is the earth surface and this is earth surface, that is present sides by the flat. Now when two magma are, actually the magma floats on this fluid, on the plates, the faults, they float on the magma. इनर कोर मैग्मा में क्या होगा, वो लिक्विड पोर्शन रहता है, यहाँ पे ढेर सारा टेम्परेचर रहता है, बहुत टेम्परेचर रहता है, रॉक्स भी मेल्ट हो जाएगा इस टेम्परेचर में. अब क्या होगा, ये फ्लूइड पे ये फॉल्ट्स जो कुछ भी है वो फ्लोट हो रहे हैं यहाँ पे, राइट? नाउ व्हेनेवर sometimes during the movement of these plates, what happens, one falls, it overlaps another flat. For example, it is A, it is B. Now A, B, while moving, they are going to overlap each other. They overlaps each other. When they get overlapped here, then what happens, the area that is present sides of the overlapped area, they are going to get a shaking sensation, and we call it as earthquake. We call it as earthquake. Have you understood? So here earthquakes occur due to movements in the earth crust plates, and we call them as faults, right? So these faults, due to movement in the faults, by moving against each other, they are going to be collapse. When they touch together, it generates the shaking vibration, and it is what we call earthquake, and it reaches to the surface of the earth crust, right? So this causes what you call earthquakes. What do causes earthquake? In the inner core of the earth, there is a melting material called magma. On this molten material, the floods, they float, and while they are floating, they cannot be stable. So while they are moving, while earth crust is moving, one fault will overlap with another one, and it generates the shaking nature, and due to this shaking nature, the vibrations are reached to the surface of the earth, and it causes earthquake. This causes earthquake. Have you understood how do earthquake occurs? Now you could this is about earthquakes. So in further chapter, let us see how to we calculate the earthquake, what is seismograph, and what are the Richter scale. We'll discuss in the further lessons. Okay.